So
I created a template, but I named it my client's name, and I didn't save it in template, so I have no idea where it went.
well, you never want to save it in templates. Like,
The template for listing,
Not with the
but you know, a template is supposed to always be neutral.
it is, but it's saved under my client's name as nothing,
do that.
just
Okay.
like a regular template. I don't know how it got there, and I
Well,
don't know
that's-
why it didn't go into the template folder.
Well, because okay, all right, yeah, I couldn't tell you. It's very straightforward what we should and shouldn't do as far as the templates are concerned. Because unless you're specifically going to build a template, you wouldn't go to the template area, and so you would have to go out of your way to go to the template area to make a template. And so that's why I kind of get confused, because
Well,
knowing the distinction between making an offer, or I mean making something, and then going to create a template.
So
are
really
two-
all I have is a blank listing document then,
most likely.
with the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in order to go to a template, so yeah, so let's go ahead and start right here, I guess. Okay, so we're in the basic transaction screen, right? This is the home page for TransactionDesk, right? It's your dashboard. Okay? So right off the bat, they make it very easy to start a transaction. Okay? That's what you want to do on a regular basis, because a template is not meant to be pulled, used, changed, tweaked on a regular basis at all. It's like a one and done. When you create your template, hopefully the only time you're ever going to need to go back is when you need to update something on the core level. As in, we have a new HOA addendum, so I have to get rid of the old one to bring the new one in. I switched brokerages, so I have to switch all my personal info, whatever it might be. Those are the only times you really need to go in to change a template. If not, you're just using the transaction. Okay? So to go to the template, we go to that little gear setup,
Go to transaction templates.
and then in here, on about what, two-thirds of the way down, you have transaction templates. See, so you're already having to go 2 screens into it to even get to
That's what I
the
did.
template.
I created a document with blank information, is what I did.
There we go. Okay, yeah. So note to self, if you want to do the big one, you're going to have to go through a few clicks to get to it. And that'll be your kind of trigger, like, oh, did I go all the way into the template thing or not? And then once you're here, that's where I started the listing template a while ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and just create a new one tonight.
But, okay, so
Okay.
add,
Yep.
okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and add. And Marilyn, are you understanding the difference? And forgive me, I'm just figuring out a baseline, where we're at. Okay. So, do you know the difference between what a template is officially? Okay. So what you would have is, if you're going to kind of do it the way I think you're going to use the program, you're going to create a template that has all your basics in it. Like your just your basics, like your title company that you probably use on a regular basis. You probably have whether or not you use a home warranty company, you probably have one that you would prefer to use if you're going to use one. So all that stuff you would have in, including like
Brokerage.
Well, the brokerage information, they changed it, so it gets pulled from the MLS automatically for you. Remember, that was the one thing we had to get rid of.
We went back to
On
our
the listing.
template.
On the listing side,
Yes.
well, kind of. We're not talking about the listing right now.
Okay.
We're talking about just templates in general.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So for you, you'll have all your information, all the basics, so you'll print that off. Ideally, if you can take it as far as pulling the information from the MLS, so that way all the property information is there, the benefit of going at least that far, it guarantees you're not going to have any errors. If you're pulling it from the MLS and the tax records, the legal description, all that will be perfect every time. Sometimes you've seen legal descriptions that are like a page long, and that's ridiculous. And so being able to copy at least that far, hugely beneficial. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So in this case, we're going to go for your personal. I can make the office one, but yeah, you guys will just have your personal one. And let's call this the listing template. And I'll do
Now,
class.
what if it doesn't come up with ownership?
Yours wouldn't because I'm the office.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm the only one that
Yeah,
can
alright,
do that at the
alright.
moment.
And tell us again, so, and then, well, I'll wait, never mind.
So what? Okay.
I'm jumping ahead.
All right, so we are going to do, this will be the residential listing, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's how you'll pull in the future. So, And then description, it's up to you if you want a description.
But you don't have to, I mean, because if it says listing template, that tells me what it is.
You could have, for example, if you have different areas you might work in, you might have, it could be a couple of different things potentially.
Oh, okay, all right. I was just thinking like when we do rentals, that listing might be a little...
Well, you'd have a rental listing template in that case too. It's slightly different because you'll have the rental spuds, you'll have the rental documents for that. Literally, it's a residential listing. I could be licensed in California, I could be licensed here. 2 different contracts. So you could have the residential California listing, the residential whatever listing. You really don't see much as far as Arizona, because Sedona, for example, they were kind of using, and Prescott kind of had their own few little things, but not wholly different.
Well, just out of curiosity, the fact that Weimar is now west and southeast,
What?
I'm trying to think of what their new name is.
Westmere, yeah.
I don't know if like for example, but if you were in different counties, you might have...
Counties vary a little bit, but no, it's still AAR.
Okay.
Arizona Residential Purchase Contract.
Gotcha.
They might have a few of their small addendums that might be a little bit different, but the big thing is I think the state, for example, would be the biggest example. Yeah, because this company's nationwide. They're everywhere. Okay?
So we can just say save then.
Yep. All right. When you hit save, it'll take you to the next screen, and you'll probably recognize this one from the purchase contract, where you could upload your checklist, your contacts, documents.
So I want to go to my forms.
If you want, you could start there.
Or because again, what's the documents?
And this is, I'm right there with you. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I had to click it to verify. Why do they have to be different? Is there a difference really between a form and a document in the real world? I think it's just, that's one of those things they put there to confuse us agents.
Well, they're doing a good job.
No kidding. So, but the big thing when it comes to the listing, you'll notice that your MLS does have the majority of these documents, for example, because that's where your ER will be, etc.
Okay, why am I not able to get to that choice? Name,
Did you
type?
click on...
All right. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and scroll down. And there you go. They're going to be right there in forms.
It doesn't say where I'm going to pull it from.
Well, that's where, go ahead and click, because you're going to add it. So go ahead and hit the plus sign, and now it's going to ask you where you want to pull it from.
And the Arizona Association of Realtors.
That'll be some of them, but in the listing, a lot of them are going to be your MLS. Because that's where your ER will be, for example.
Okay. So we should have an exclusive right to sell and rent listing.
And then you want your profile sheet, even though you're probably not going to use this one, but it's good to have it there. And then same thing with the sold change form.
Profile sheet residential, where's that?
Keep going down. Okay.
And then,
And
yeah.
that's it.
And then your listing contract addendum.
Where's it now? I didn't have listing.
It's right under the
yes,
ER, yeah.
So pretty much just those three, the exclusive right to sell, rent.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's up to you, because you could come back and do a separate one for land if you want. You could do a separate one for your rentals if you want. That's up to you. And I hope you never use the EA. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay? So if we're happy with the 4, let's go ahead and add them.
Oh, wait a minute, what do you mean 4?
I only have 3.
I only have 3.
Your listing, contract, your addendum, your ER, your profile sheet, and your sold change form.
All right, hold on.
ER. Isn't
So
that
I
the
did-
exclusive authorization and right?
Exclusive rights, not authorization. That's what makes it the A.
The exclusive right to sell, rent, listing, contract, legal
Yeah.
language, right?
So keep in mind they're alphabetical order. So let's go to ER.
Oh, sold
so it's
change.
EA.
Okay.
EA. So let's scroll down because we want ER. Agency, authorization, getting closer. There we go. Exclusive right to sell. There we are.
That's the one I have checked.
Well, there you go. Yep. So you got your exclusive. So you got your ER. You got your listing contract.
So is there a difference between residential and commercial?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do we know that's residential?
Well, go ahead and scroll up because you can see the rest of them. So you got your. Oops. Go down. Sorry. A little more. Okay. So you have your right to sell,
Oh,
contract, legal
it says
language.
commercial.
Yeah, commercial, multiple dwelling, and I assume that lack of other clarification means it is residential.
By default.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so then you have your profile sheet, so let's go ahead and add the residential profile sheet. One more down, I think. There you go. And then very bottom, you have your sold change form. There you go.
Oh, that same change form, the one we didn't have.
Okay, so those 4 for right now, but that's not all, because what else do we need?
We have to have the market conditions, you have to have the, agency. You have to
Where do we
have-
put the spuds and the,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Anything
some-
that you're going to need for the listing, as in the spuds, the HOA,
lead based?
So wouldn't the
needed,
spuds
exactly.
be then actually, if I go back to add, I could go to the AAR or?
Now you're going to go back to the AR and grab the other ones that we missed.
Okay,
So for
Because
example,
those are not here, are they?
exactly. Yep.
okay.
So the HOA, in my area, I do a lot here local, and so HOA unfortunately is standard for my stuff. So it's good for me to have it. You know, if you're up in Black Canyon City, not so much that, but you're going to definitely need the well and the septic. Aren't both of those seller first? Are they both? No, at least one is.
So do we save this and then go to the others?
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead and because yep, those are what you're pulled from here.
So where do we save?
So go ahead and just click add, and it'll pull them in, and then you can just hit the plus sign one more time, and this time we'll pull from the AAR.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so yeah, you got your market conditions, and your HOA.
Lead base hazard disclosure.
Yeah, if you're doing a lot of stuff before 1978, it would be good to kind of have that there handy.
Market conditions advisory. Okay, I missed that one.
So we got agency for the seller.
Oh, do we do agency up front?
Real estate agency disclosure and election seller.
For the seller, yeah.
Why do I not see that? Is that under the A's?
No, go down
I
to
think it's
the
under
R's.
yeah. If it's not where you think it's going to be, try putting residential or something in front of it. Yeah, it's probably under R.
Here's your spuds.
Okay, I see it. Real estate agency disclosure and election buyer. No, not buyer, right?
Seller, huh?
Seller, yeah.
Well, I don't know what the difference is on those. They're the same one.
I think so, just you mark, you know, instead of here, you mark it down.
Yeah, so whenever I need an agency, I just grab an agency and then I fill out what I need. Because there is a seller's and the buyer, but they're the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Uh-oh.
And then the wire fraud, I guess. Well, no, you would need that one for the buyer.
Where am I
Is
supposed-
this where we're doing the spuds?
Come on down.
I got
Come
it.
on
All
down.
right, so
Property sellers, yeah,
Yeah,
residential
residential
sellers,
sellers property.
disclosure.
here's what I got so far. Let me know if anybody has anything else.
Start at the top.
Let me see again.
ER, followed by the profile sheet, followed by the sold change
You
form.
go way too fast for me.
Sorry.
ER.
Oh, are you in your?
I'm still choosing the forms.
Oh, you're in the AAR still. So yeah, the AAR forms, agency, spuds, market conditions, and then outside of that, it's really kind of up to you, like the HOA.
I haven't even found agency yet.
Residential.
Yep, go down to the R. Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of them are under residential. So you got your, there's your bins. There, go ahead and go down just a little
Isn't it
bit.
interesting, Marilyn? Because I
right.
sometimes I find it's like, it's not logical. I would think it would be called something else.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so your
so
spuds there, perfect.
I'm thinking, who needs?
And
Right, exactly.
okay, go up. Sorry. REA. There it is, right there. Sorry. Yeah, you got it.
I think I have all I need.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and go up to M. Let's see if we can grab the market conditions. Right there, you got that one. Perfect. Okay, so then the only other one, it's really up to you pretty much, because you can do, if you want to do your HOA, your lead-based paint.
I have the lead-based paint in there, but you so seldom use it in now.
Yeah,
But the listing I just took was built in '74.
there we go. Okay. So, if you want to add that, you can.
I've got that in there.
And then
You don't have to
HOA.
use it, it'll come up, you just delete it out of your transaction.
The general rule for your template is it the majority of what you do?
Right.
If more than half of them, I would say definitely add it, you know?
Yeah, and if by chance I'm not using that sometime in the future, I'll just go into template and just delete it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like the short sale one. Okay, so
Will you
did we
make
get
me one
all-
of those, so I know what I did before we go?
sure.
Yeah,
Perfect.
because I know it's on a Wednesday.
All right, so
Thank you very much.
yeah, that's it for the document so
Now
far.
we add them, huh?
Yep. Now, documents, mold, for example, but that's mainly buyers. Pool addendum, but that's mainly buyers again. We really don't have any true documents for
A listing.
the listing side. It's all kind of,
Yeah, because what I'm curious to know in here, when it says like the profile sheet, because you know how used to when do we still in armless?
you still always want to pull it from armless if possible,
all right.
but it's good to have one here just in
Okay.
case if you need to print it or something like that.
All right.
To send it to somebody if need be. Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, there will have been something similar in that floor plan range so you could borrow. All right, so if we think we're good as far as the documents are concerned, I think, are we good as far as the documents?
Yeah, if we do documents and folders, that's something specific to the brokerage, right?
Yeah, in which case for the listing, we really don't have any.
Don't have any.
Yeah. So if we're good on that, let's go ahead and open up the document and let's actually start hitting them.
Okay, now hold on a sec, because I gotta remember how to. I just do it from here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
So we go back to
The
transaction
listing
desk.
contract?
Nope. Nope. You're actually in your template right now. So you would just literally inside the form. Okay, now you can go ahead and click on it.
Oh,
There we go.
This is the actual template that we're working on.
Template itself, yes. Exactly. Alright, so for example on this one, we're doing a sale, so it makes sense to check the sale box. And if you're really thorough, you could actually go sale order. It's up to you. Now, the fun thing about this one is the listing, there's not much to do. The majority of what we do is actually pulling from the property information, not necessarily the listing itself. Like this agreement is very easy. You know, you're gonna input the property here, you're gonna input the price that you agree on, right? Now, it's up to you if you wanna try to include the fridge, washer, and dryer. From experience, it's always a bonus and it helps if you can include it.
Well, they added some more stuff on above ground spa, above ground pool. I never saw that before.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask, if you don't mind, honey, when you go back up, are we, you know, mine looks like I've got like a little blue thingy. And it's supposed to, okay, all right,
Yep.
all right, thank you, you answered my question.
Yeah, that's standard for TransactionDesk, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. And then you're suggesting to go ahead and just, you know, do the refrigerator, washer, and dryer, and
That's up to you. Yeah. When I do a listing, I almost always end up including it. So I do.
okay.
Okay. All right. Now, anybody? What's the general rule that's the kind of funny joke to tell your clients about fixtures?
That anything that is not attached, or anything that is attached,
If you have to unscrew it to take it with you, you probably shouldn't take it with you.
you
All
have to
right.
be very specific.
Yeah. All right. Now, anything else? You know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have anything standard here that's included as far as fixtures not included or anything like that. That's why this template is really easy. Now, as far as access to a lockbox, I always do have it checked. Does.
Most cases you do.
It makes it so
Just
hard to
every
sell.
once in a while, when you have like one of our agents, the owner was adamant about not having a lockbox, would not allow open houses, and so obviously did not want his house to sell, and it did not.
Highly motivated seller.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. If they don't allow you to put a lockbox or a sign, just walk away. Yeah.
Don't waste 6 months.
Yeah. But I'd have it checked, in other words.
Now
Okay.
here comes the best part.
Now, I know one agent that does have a retainer. It works for her. I've never taken a retainer. Have either anybody? Yeah. So, one of the things that they could either do here, and where is it? It was Can you put an emoji there? That's funny. Where was it? There was something that you were able to put a thing in it. Where was it?
Do we put NA in that retainer block or just?
Well,
leave it blank?
there was a way to do that after the fact. I'm trying to remember how that was.
Is that, well, maybe not when you're signing it, huh?
Yeah, there.
It'll only take a numeric.
Oh, you know what? I think it's in the sign portion.
Yeah, it won't take.
It's in the signing side. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so when it comes to the sale commissions, are you pretty standard with what you do? Because if that's the case, then definitely go ahead and put your
12% in it.
absolutely 40% the gross price, 6% or whatever you want to do there, because I think it'll allow you to do both. Yeah. Okay. And then cooperating brokers, if you're
3%.
standard, yeah.
We put the 3 there.
If that's your go-to, you know. All I can say is, if, in my opinion, if more than 50% of what you do is this, put it here because it'll save you a lot of time.
Well, if you don't put 3% there, you're not going to get cooperating brokers.
Yeah, if they see that it's negotiable, as in there's nothing there, they'll think
Yeah.
it's negotiable because
Yeah.
there's nothing there. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to come in prepared. Okay, now
Is this the 190, 1690, something like that?
60, 90, 120. Any of those are good as far as I'm concerned. Purchased by a tenant, that's
I
the
didn't understand what you just said.
Sorry.
purchased by a tenant is one thing that they've encountered being, with working with investment
Rentals.
homes and rentals and stuff. right? So purchased by a tenant, it's the same thing here as after expiration.
6190 is what I don't understand.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So it's referring to
Oh,
if they end up
line
purchasing
61,
it.
line.
No.
Oh, days.
If they end up purchasing it, so let's say a tenant falls in love with this home after the contract expires. So let's say, well, if during the terms of any rental of the premises, including renewals, holdovers, within 90 days after its termination. So let's say a tenant wants to buy the property.
What line are we on?
We're on line 113.
Okay, now I got it.
Yeah. So if any tenant wants to purchase the home, it's within whatever time afterward, because you laid the groundwork. Okay. So just because they ended up not pulling the trigger in the time it was listed, if it's within 90 days, you'll still
I
get
don't
credit
give them
for
any
it.
slack. I put 180.
Whoa, I haven't seen 180. I've seen 120, but that 6
Commercial-
months that works.
In commercial, I did.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay,
absolutely.
And I see why with commercials.
Yeah. Typically 90 days is what I see a lot of in the residential side.
I'll put 90.
And the same thing with after expiration.
Yeah.
too.
Is that what you see too? For the most part?
And it just helps to protect us, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
And
that
it's
way
not.
they're not going to outweight you, you know.
Yeah. Well, especially the after expiration. This actually came up earlier this year with my client, and actually it was commercial with the one with Mel. We came to the, and luckily we're not on the other. We're not. I'm on the buyer side. I'm not on the listing side. Thank goodness on this one because it's a $2 million property. But the listing agent had it listed till the end of 2018. So December 31st, 2018. We saw the property and originally put our stuff in December, but it over the course of it took them almost 3 weeks to get this thing nailed down, and so we actually got an executed contract the second week of January.
Wow.
And the listing agent, according to the owners, did not do what he was supposed to do, which I can't say anything about.
You're talking about the listing after yours?
Well, it was a place one of my clients was trying to buy, and that listing agent apparently didn't do everything he was supposed to do. So the buyers were trying to get out of it and not have to pay him a commission. In this case, 50 grand, because our offer got executed the second week of January. But there was no doubt about it. We went there and saw it in December. There was no doubt about it.
So this guy still was entitled to his commission.
Yep, but the owners were pushing back. So I don't know if anything ended up happening with
My commercial
that one.
contract said, even though it is listed by another agent. Not unless, even though.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't it interesting, even like when you do a listing for a client? Because Mike and I had a lady that we were helping in Wickenburg, and we knew from the start that she didn't want to pay a commission. Even though she had signed with us, signed all the paper, and I mean, for the first time in the history of that house, they actually, with my open houses, I brought in people to look at this home.
She did a great job.
It was, I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful home.
Yeah.
But she waited until our listing
was-
expired. But we had put in the 90-day,
Yeah.
and she did not remember seeing that, and it's like, gotta
Oh,
take
so
you
you
to the
outsmarted her.
contract. But she waited the additional 90 days, and that next day
If my
sold the
clients
house.
were not renewing the listing with me, I gave them a list
$675,000.
of all the people that I was working
It's like,
with.
really?
And
Really, that's awesome.
that's where
awesome.
apparently that other agent messed up because he didn't put us on the list.
Ah.
He agreed to that with the owners, and so even though we had been there, he didn't tell them that we were. He didn't let them know. So that was kind of the behind the scenes where they found their loophole. 'Cause-
I always kept a record of all the people that I showed the property.
But be careful with that, because if you miss somebody,
Well-
i.e., you might mess yourself. So be careful by putting extra stuff into it, because by default, it doesn't matter here. If anybody that saw it, all you have to do is show that they saw it, as opposed to providing a list, which is, and that's what burned Ryan.
So what's your thought
Yeah.
when
I love that
they-
idea. That way there's no ambiguity, but be careful. Yeah.
So what's your thought if for whatever reason the agent isn't able to go with their client? And so they, say, go look at it, but let them know that, I'm your agent and da-da-da-da. Because I'm thinking, we kind of have to, it's like, I think the agent really needs to go out of their way to be there with
Absolutely.
their client. Only
I think so
because-
too, why,
I don't know, I honor it, because I think I had a house I was holding open house, and the buyers came through and said, we're waiting till the agent gets back that has it listed. So they saw it because I was there, but they waited till their their agent came back.
Yeah.
So I got no credit, which was fine because they told me up front.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate that, I do, yeah. I don't like it when.
and I think that's loyalty on the owner's side
Yeah.
too.
People should,
I cut some slack because these builders.
that's the catch. Exactly. Builders are not nearly as nice.
No,
And
but
that's
if you come in with your business card and say, my agent can't be here today,
Yeah.
but I want to see it, I don't want to wait.
They
Yeah.
don't honor it, yeah.
Well, they
Well-
will or might,
well, and that's
Most,
where you-
I find do.
the new builds today
They're
are a
gonna
lot
sell.
better than they used to
Yeah.
be. And Beezer's worked with me, Ryland's worked with me, KB Homes has worked with me, because buyers do things. Let's just say
They do.
that.
They do it without you because they can't wait.
Exactly.
And that also may be the
What-
difference in
you
them
know-
buying it or not.
Well, I didn't sign anything.
You're ready.
I didn't sign anything.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
agent
right.
is sloughing if he doesn't go with his client.
Yeah. Well, and
You can't.
but sometimes you can't, exactly. On a Sunday afternoon, they're coming home from church, they see a sign, they'll stop. You can't, if you have a relationship that they'll call you, that's wonderful, but you can't expect them to.
Yeah.
And that,
And there's no recourse.
That's why you need the buyer broker agreement.
ideally, yes. But when it comes to just making sure you are covered, if you know you can't make it, I would send an email to that agent with the client's name, everything immediately.
I was gonna say,
Just
kind
to
of
show.
go over and above saying,
Yep.
I legitimately can't, but here I am, and
Yep.
da-da-da-da.
And just make sure you save any contact, like a record of you emailing that listing to your person, anything like that, just to cover yourself.
Okay.
Okay, and just keep it saved.
Alright,
You know.
alright.
Yeah. But luckily, I'm right there with Marilyn. It's not nearly as bad over the last 3-4 years. People are cooperating a lot more. Better safe than sorry, because if it's not in writing, there's no proof, and it's all good as long as it's all good. But the moment it's not, you're done.
But I don't know why the buyers aren't more loyal. I mean, they're just not.
Well, they don't have any skin in the game, so why would they?
They have the buyer broker agreement.
That's
I
why it
never
makes
used
you
it.
wonder if things get
And some
turned
of them
around,
flat
where
don't
they
under-
become responsible for their part of the closing costs. We might see things change,
Yeah.
so who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them still think that we don't work for our money too.
Yeah. Have them come spend the
We're-
day with me.
I think it's trying to change that perception where we're not car salesmen here to just sell them this home or that home. We are their confidant. We are their partner trying to help them find the perfect home. I don't
From
flip and
start
care
to
if they like
finish.
this home, that home, or a home we see 3 months from now, as long as I can help them find the perfect home that they fall in love with. That's all I care about. And yeah, it's unfortunately, I don't know, well, why we have that reputation, the 80s, blah, 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 the history of real estate, gotta love it. So, okay, so let's keep going here. We basically skipped from line 122 all the way straight down to 159.
So instead of Weimar, what do we put down?
Well, I put them all, and this is where take advantage of the memberships, okay?
Okay.
So you have Weimar, whatever, let's pull that
Whatever
one
the
up.
new name
Yeah, let's pull that
is.
one up,
Okay,
because
let me draw it up.
Yeah, 'cause
Maricopa
I used Weimar on mine this last time.
Yeah.
Association of Realtors. We serve. That's it, we serve, that's right.
All right, well, that'll be easy to remember.
Yeah.
WESERVE?
Yep, SERV.
SERV.
So
We-
western, southeast real estate.
Oh, it's all, no space in between, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, west and southeast realtors of the valley.
Of the valley. Whoa.
Okay? But take advantage of the other ones because
So you
if
got
you're a member
NAR,
of PAR,
AAR,
AAR.
Armless.
Sevrar, what was the other one I'm missing?
I need to
Armless?
follow up with the NAR.
No, southeast is what we got rid of. What's the other one I'm missing?
Phoenix?
I have PAR,
No.
we serve now because we have Sevrar and that's
Okay.
Scottsdale. Thank you. SAAR. Yeah, okay. And this just touts, okay, if you're a member of one association, that's wonderful. If you're a member of all the associations, it just shows you're going above and beyond.
But we're not. I'm only with PAR. I can't be with We Serve.
You can. No, you can. You can get an affiliated membership. It's either $25
It's cheaper,
or
too.
free.
No, I was a broker. That's not the realtor.
No, it is. I promise.
How do we find out?
Call them.
Say I want an associate member or whatever.
Yeah, you can get an associate membership. Trust me, because we have agents that are like in Prescott, Tucson here. You absolutely can, and you get a discount. I'm not sure who does them for free and who's a discount, but one's either free. I think if you join Phoenix, you can join Weimar or the other one for $25, or if you're a part of Weimar, you could join PAR for like $25 or something like that.
So
I think you have to belong to Phoenix to belong to, I think
The other
that's
So
one, yeah.
include NAR, include AAR.
Associations, yes, absolutely. Thank you. I know I was forgetting a couple.
Is
And-
Armless,
It
Well,
just looks good.
Technically, it's not an association, but it shows that you are another member. To the public, if you read this verbatim, these are what you should. NAR, AAR, PAR, whatever real associations you are. But Armless takes it one step further, and not every agent is a member of Armless.
Yeah.
when I was
It's
commercial, I was not.
Exactly. So anything that kind of sets you aside, I would say go ahead, but the main ones are definitely your associations. Okay.
Okay, we serve
Follow
an
up on that.
AAR and NAR.
It's kind of like having letters after your name, have as many as possible.
That's why I do RNs.
Yeah. Dad, the Democrat from Minnesota. That's so funny. Dad has his doctorate in ministry, and it's DMIN, and he's gotten asked if are you a Democrat from Minnesota? Okay.
Owner
That
of
second box, this agent is not a member of any realtor association / board.
Yep. No, you are, definitely.
Because you are a member of, so don't mark that one.
Okay, don't mark that one.
Yep.
Oh, I see, it's one or the other.
Yeah, if you're
either
not, exactly.
Agent, you name them either or you're not.
Exactly. Okay, so after that, that pretty much takes us to line 275. Now, every owner is has their own version of this. I have the combination of these three I prefer. Do you guys have a preference as far as handling these three checks?
I do the backup offers.
Accept backup offers?
I don't want verbal offers.
So you check withhold verbal offers? Okay.
I always put accept backup offers.
Yeah, I can accept backup offers because it either goes somewhere or don't.
So you check, so it sounds like we all check the first two. And we leave the third one blank? That's what I do as well. Yeah, because verbal offers don't mean crud. If it's going to be
Right,
real,
it
they'll
has
put it
to
in
be in
writing.
writing,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And then accept backup offers. Why wouldn't you accept backup offers?
I think
Yeah.
there are times when we're doing some of the negotiation, verbally, and then we say, all right, let's put it in writing, and then,
I
Yeah,
don't
so
know
why-
very many buyers that will spend their time on a backup offer anyway.
Exactly.
And you just looked at the other
unless
one.
you have multiple offers.
But even then, you
No.
can't. You don't put your. I would never tell my client, okay, you know what? They already have accepted an offer. Why don't we go ahead and put an offer, and let's just hope, and let's just wait and pray this one falls out.
Yeah.
you know, that's not doing your client a
Okay, I
service.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put
You're still gonna
withhold
look.
verbal offers.
Withhold verbal offers, yes.
Because verbal offer is
'Cause
not,
without
it's not
in writing, yeah.
enforceable.
I always just do accept backup offers. I
Okay.
don't do anything with the others.
But you want to withhold verbal offers, you don't want
It's
to.
up to you. There's no right or wrong answer on this one. It's kind of
Right.
personal preference. Like, I could see the benefit of, they could still, okay, an agent could still come to you and say, hey, my client wants to offer $250 on this house, right? And you could be like, okay, well, we already have an offer accepted. Go ahead and put it in writing, and we'll go from there.
That's what I would do.
See,
Yeah.
so that the verbal offer technically isn't.
Between agents
Right.
mostly.
Yeah, I mean, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the verbal offer. Now put it in writing.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
absolutely.
so that's where I say withhold verbal offers because they technically aren't. I
They're
mean,
doing good, yeah.
yeah. So that's where I'm coming from with this, but I see where you're coming from too because technically it's like, I guess we're making the distinction. Are we even going to tell our client about it if it's not going to be put in writing? And it's up to you. If
Because
you want
almost
to.
always, don't we say that we're in communication? And so if I am, you know, this is where we're at, but now let's make it official, and so we'll, you know, make it written.
There's no place in the MLS entry that has withhold verbal offers.
Yeah. When it kind of like Mom what we were talking about with property management, and same thing when it comes to once you get that verbal, because it always has to be a verbal. Okay, we agree 275, 3% concessions, closing in 30 days. We're gonna write it up.
First time and do it correctly instead of countering.
Exactly, right? So you have that moment where, great, we have our agreement, and now that's when, in my world, the pressure
But
starts,
it's not
right?
presented to the
Well,
seller.
until I have that executed copy, that's when my stress is going on because until it's all executed and done, it's not done.
And you don't want to present that to your client either.
Yeah, you can only be burned so many times where you think you have a deal done and they send you the counter offer and you think you have an accepted offer and you get the counter back as fast as possible and then you find out, oh, you accepted another offer in the meantime? Really? You know, and that can only happen so many times before you try to get the written copy yesterday.
Or the verbal offer is lowballing, and in the meantime you get a reasonable
Solid.
offer.
Yep.
You know, so why should you why should you throw that verbal offer in the cart?
Yep, exactly. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong here, but I think we're all kind of on the same page on that one. Now, that leads us to 303, additional terms. You can do a bunch of things here, okay? This is where you put any of your variable commission agreements.
Oh, is this where we say that if for, and I forget the exact verbiage, but if I happen to have the opportunity to represent both the owner and the seller and the buyer, that I might be willing to, I forget how you do it.
No, you can't put the commission as anything but a commission in here. Is that what you're talking about?
No, this is where where the commission would be.
In the event the listing agent becomes or, procures an REP.
Unrepresented buyer.
Yeah.
That there's a form for that.
Well, that's the actual form. This is where you're specifically only referencing any changes in the commission that you're willing to do or accept, because this is the listing agreement. So you don't put any commission in the offer ever in the actual purchase contract, but in the actual listing agreement, this is where you would have any of that stuff. A minimum commission, you know, whatever it might be. Yeah.
What's the verbiage, the rest of the verbiage?
I have to, yeah, put me on the spot because I'm not thinking about it. What's the actual term for it? Limited dual representative?
Have to look it up.
Yeah, because I stole the actual, that's the only thing I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Well, let's go back here.
Hold on, I have to remember my little spiel. I haven't had to
I don't know
retype
why
it
you
for
couldn't
so
put
long.
agent on there, you know.
Well, it's
Real agent.
there. It's the formal term that's on it. It's the actual term that's on that addendum up top. It's the same term, but I literally put in that exact verbiage.
How about the listing belongs to the broker, so why wouldn't it be the broker? So say Charlotte sold my listing. Why does it have to be the listing agent?
Because if you, who are representing the seller, if you have just somebody that comes and looks at the house and they don't have an agent that represents them, then you have the ability, they
That's
want
dual
to buy.
agent. That's
yes.
dual agency then.
So limited, yeah. Representative.
Representative. There we go. Representative. And
Both the owner and buyer.
yeah. And the commission shall be 4% of the gross purchase price. It's the formal way of.
Okay, yeah.
And basically that's just me saying that if I find both sides, I'll accept 4%. Saves my sellers 2%, I get a 1% bonus, and typically that also works out in the buyer's favor too. In
Right.
general, it's a win-win, right? But I also have to let the listing people know that as hard as I try, less than 10% of sales are typically brought by a buyer, by a lister, you know?
Some companies don't allow it, period.
Yeah.
They just don't want to get into a
The dual.
Yeah.
fight.
Oh, and there's a lot to be said about that, and that's where, you know, even when some brokerages have also said that you need to bring in another agent. Well, technically that agent is representing the same brokerage, which is the same thing, technically, right? Because all listings are that. So just
why
all you can say
involve-
is
yeah.
if you're on the up and up and communicating the way you should,
With
you
both
definitely
parties.
need to be very careful. But you know, it's like how on earth can a Remax never do another deal with another Remax agent? How can a Keller Williams agent never do another deal with Keller Williams?
Right.
You know, so no matter what, in everything, CYA every step of the way. Yeah. In the last 2 years, I've actually done more limited dual representations than I ever have, and it's actually been from my open houses.
I was going to say, yeah, you hold a lot of open houses.
Yeah.
And then that's what Dad ended up doing with his last deal, because the sellers were like for sale by owner, and but it's just interesting how this one worked out.
Yeah.
If your client asks you what limited means, that means that you cannot disclose each other's.
That's when you bust out the actual addendum and really kind of get into it, where I have to be honest with both parties, but I can under no circumstances favor either party. I am literally a middleman. You tell me what you would like, I will convey it to them, they will respond, and I will convey that to you.
I know.
I'm literally just a middleman at that point in time. I can't favor anybody. You know, I can provide you comps, I can provide you information, but that's literally it. And you literally just go line by line by line about what it specifies. Seriously.
And you can't really tell the other person what you even talked about. Suppose your listing seller says, well, let's list it for $495, but just between you and I may take $490. You can't tell that other that buyer that.
What are
Nope.
you willing to offer?
Nope. Yep.
Okay.
And that's where the liabilities come in. So that's where I literally, less is more. You don't say anything. You're like, here's the offer.
Yep.
What would you guys like to do? You know, here's the inspection report. What would you like to do? You know, And you're really stuck, because if they go off the deep end, you're just following them off the deep end. You know, I want everything in the inspection fixed. Ouch. Okay. They would like everything in the inspection fixed. How would you like to respond?
Yep.
Plain and simple, you know? Yeah.
I never noticed that this stopped at line 330, and that it says remainder of page intentionally left blank.
Yeah. That's, again, new.
Legal
new.
verbiage, yeah.
Yep. All right, so basically the last part is your part here. And since this is not connected to any particular listing in the MLS, you definitely want to put your information here.
So this is where you do fill in the broker and
Yes.
stuff like that? Okay.
Absolutely.
So we'll break through real estate. Oh, I want the new one. Right, maybe this one.
Keep wanting to, and make sure you do the LLC afterward.
Yeah, you have to
That
make it longer.
LLC.
You have to make it longer.
We got in trouble because technically LLC is part of the name.
Really?
And, yeah.
I didn't know that, huh?
Yeah, I actually have to go back and add it, find some way of adding it to our logo. So, frustrated about that one.
Do we have to spell the word and, or we can use the apparent?
The ampersand is the formal. That is the literal name. Yeah.
Should have made it Breakthrough Realty. Now you didn't have to put real estate, realty and property management. That would have shortened it.
Hindsight, yeah.
But I like
do.
our shortcut. So it's B as in boy, R as in Robert, E as in Edward.
Rep 'em. Yeah.
And we do our Brepum.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like that
'cause
at
if
all.
not-
It doesn't let anybody know what it is. I
If
mean,
not,
then
it would have
you-
been burp 'em.
I only use that in my email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Breakthrough
we knew
Real
we
Estate and
had a
Property
very long
Management
name.
LLC,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep.
You could have put Breakthrough, BRAKTHRU.
That's true. That's very true.
What's the preferred phone number? Do we have we have an office?
That's
number.
your phone number, unless
Yeah,
you want
it's
to put
whatever
the
you-
office
yeah.
phone number.
Oh,
But that's the office number if you want it right there.
or my personal number.
Does it matter? Is there a preference to use our cell, or should we use the office?
That's up to you. Whatever phone you would probably want them to use. Yeah. All right, and that's the ER.
Okay.
And then the profile sheet, you never want to fill out, because ideally you're just going to take it from the MLS directly. It's cleaner, it's everything, and then that's what you'll give to your clients to review.
So we've already named the template, so we just save, right?
Yep. And then let's go ahead and go to, well, I would just go to the agency. Not that we have much to do there, but we can do what we can.
Should the agency have come up? Should it be part of this template?
Yep.
He told us not to fill that one in too for some reason.
On the buyer side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have it in my,
You do.
it's not.
Your-
Oh,
You're still in your other documents. So go to your, that, transactions forms, and then go down to
But this one you can at least,
agency right there.
we can fill in seller.
Yep, just do this there and check the box. Represent the seller, and then I would also do line 42 as well.
Okay.
It's not saying you're going to, it just gives you the ability to if it was deemed necessary.
Okie dokie.
that's what really happens. If Charlotte sells my listing, that's what happens.
So up there, you're supposed to put LLC after that, or does it matter?
Oh, yep, you are correct.
Oh, God, are you kidding?
Good heavens.
Well, what's funny is that even the bigger brokerages and stuff, you're supposed to technically do that. They're not really like. It's one of those things that's a rule, and they kind of mention it to you periodically, but it's not one of those that they really come after you for.
Title company doesn't come after you for it either, unless you're buying it, then you need to.
Yeah, technically it's the ADRE that whatever full name we have. So technically our name is Breakthrough Real Estate and Property Management LLC. Technically. Just like you have Capcore Real Estate, Capcore Real Estate, I think they're Capcore Realty and Property Management LLC. You're supposed to follow it up now with whatever it is, if it's a company, corp, whatever it might be.
So
Does that
technically,
hold true for
should
the
we
agent
be-
too?
Yeah,
Well, that's where the agent, you're only supposed to use, for example, I'm Joshua M. Ezel.
Okay.
I'm technically supposed to put Joshua M. Ezel on every single thing, and I have to ask them permission to say Josh Ezel. And that has
So
to be
should
a
we-
nickname.
so should we technically be using like our middle initial or whatever? Or?
Technically, if you really want to get anal about it, it's whatever legally you gave to the ADRE when you got your license.
I don't
If my
remember.
license says Frederick G. James PLLC, I should use
That's what you should
PLLC.
formally put on every single document, and every.
And I use
Kim,
Fred James, you know, I don't even use.
Kim had to file for Kim to be able to use Kim because her name's Kimberly, and yeah, technically she had to apply
Carly
for
did too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, they all had to apply for their names. Yeah,
So whatever's on your license, that's what you should be using.
formally. Yep, on everything, and then yep. So stupid. I mean, it's not stupid. It makes sense, but it is ridiculous.
Because
Yeah.
I haven't used that PLLC anytime, I just use Fred James.
I think you should go by Giacomo.
Excuse me.
The Giacomo, yeah.
I was thinking.
That'll really confuse everybody.
Yeah, me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that one's done.
All right,
And
so
that
we
pretty
can
much,
say-
So now you need a new name tag
Yeah, it's like,
There you are.
for the LLC.
Total liability. All of us. Okay, so once we're saved, I guess that's basically it. So, is there anything else in here up front that you think we should fill out off the top of my head? That's all I'm really.
None of that.
Your mom mentioned to me, you know, I asked her what documents I should upload to Pipeline. She said that we probably should have a market condition.
where the seller has signed it, and then you're ready to send it over to the buyer. Or at
Either
least
way.
that's what Jeff kind of recommended, you know.
That's one of those documents, kind of like the molded denim, which it will be signed either way in the long run. Who starts it, buyer, seller?
Yeah, it can be signed in counterpart too on those
Yeah.
ones. They're not.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that, you know, if I have my seller sign it already, the same thing like having the clue in there, you know, getting the spud. I've already prepared the groundwork
Yeah.
so that then when that buyer comes in, you know, the forms are there. It's the same thing with the
It wouldn't
HOA,
hurt.
with the pool. I mean, all of that. But
Well,
I
the
mean,
pool again, that's a buyer one,
Well,
but
right,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
and you're absolutely right. It's going to be done no matter what. If you want to get it ready, and that I won't argue with that, but it is a mandatory. Are we going to make it? No.
But I think it just makes you
Yeah.
look good
Yeah.
because then you have the forms
Oh
there
heck
that
yeah!
you're
If you
gonna
could have the
to-
HOA, the market conditions, the spuds, and the clue all just sitting there in the
Yeah,
MLS
yeah.
waiting for the buyer, you are the best agent in the world.
Yeah.
You know, good job.
Helps, yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing maybe with the lead base.
If it's before 1978, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
And if you
I
have
just,
solar put in the,
Solar,
Yeah.
well, septic, any of those, anything that goes above and beyond as far as the extras, yeah, hey, absolutely.
okay. And again, it's not mandatory, but I'm just thinking you have to have that paperwork anyway. And knowing what we need for pipeline, you've already started the groundwork.
Yep.
And then I'm not gonna be fussing saying, Fred,
So, and just in case anybody was wondering, okay, the MLS form, okay, what you would, for example, just remember 598-2815, okay? So, for example, you have a new listing, okay? You have your ER signed, you have all the addendums signed, now you're getting ready to put it in the MLS, okay? First thing that you'd want to do is see if that floor plan house has been in the MLS before. You want to copy a listing if possible. It saves you so much time. So under menu, you'd go to copy.
Are we still in TransactionDesk?
We're taking it now one step further. You finished your ER. and now you're gonna do your MLS profile sheet.
So we can get on a transaction desk.
Yep, and I'm just showing you where you would go to get it, okay? So you would go to the MLS and go to the menu, and hopefully they would have been in there before. So what was it, Mom? 598 what?
You said it too fast.
My listing, what was it? It was
Oh,
598
I
what?
am so sorry. Hold on. Really fast. Yes. 598, 2815.
598-2815. Okay. So if it's your listing prior that you've had, like that address before, you can copy the pictures from your own listing. If it wasn't your listing, you're not allowed to copy it, okay? So just uncheck photos and then hit next. Okay, and it'll ask you what kind of listing you want, if it's residential, residential rental, whatever it might be. And it's the quickest way, and I'm just gonna do a very fast version of this. You pop yourself in and hit next. Boom, it's already 3/4 of the way done. So you make sure the tax information was correct.
And
And you
now
go
you
next.
have all of this. You just
Yep.
have to fill in the specifics.
You do the basics, right? All the property information is already there, from the map code to the taxes to the bedrooms. All the basic information's there, the school information.
Hopefully they were right.
Ex- Well, that's where.
That's gonna tweak it now.
Well, now you're gonna go in and you will review it, but you're gonna also send this to your clients to review as well. The benefit of this is that it's clean. It's the computer printed out version, so it's all legible,
And it
and
saves them a little bit of time of looking.
then they could actually just go in there with a pen and edit whatever they want if they don't think something's right, and then they can initial by it. It makes it so much better, and it saves you hours of time from having to fill this in. So I'm just going to kind of throw some stuff in so I can get to where I really want to show you. So we'll say we're going to list it this time for 360. We're going to go delayed, and then list date. Of course, they only allow you to do, the day you're working with, expiration.
6 months.
6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll just pick a date. Okay. And sub-agents. For anybody, what are sub-agents?
Say like if I was the, what do you call it, co-lister with you? No, I don't know. I thought we did know.
We all used to be sub-agents of a seller.
Technically,
But
yeah.
back then.
Back then, yeah.
I don't know what a sub-agent
We
is.
don't use it.
Basically, it's any representative that's not an actual realtor at this point in time. So, let's say you.
You're slightly below us.
Yeah, it's
That sounds like a footnote.
it could be it's anybody who's either not fully licensed in general that's a representative of somebody, or like a handler,
Like my ISA or
or you could be
something.
on another team,
How
etc.,
about an
etc.
agent that's with another brokerage?
That's not a sub agent.
That's not a sub.
No, that's the buyer broker. That's the difference.
Okay.
The sub agent is
Not licensed.
not necessarily licensed. They can or cannot be per se, but they're not necessarily the representative. So, for example, let's say you have Keller Williams. Okay, then you have a team on Keller Williams, and then you have somebody over here who's on a team from Keller Williams who's not actually the agent, who is
Works
like
with that
4
agent.
people
Yeah.
down, whatever. Are you going to pay all these? It's one of those really silly things where if it's not just a clean cut thing, are you going to pay them a commission?
It's probably what Open Door does, because they have somebody doing this, and somebody doing this, but they all work together for this one.
Yeah, like you work for me, I'm not able to go there, so you're going to help this other person. Are you going to pay them?
Yeah.
Type thing. There could be a couple different examples. I was taught from Prudential, no.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Quick answer on that, but buyer broker, yes, exactly. Okay.
And
So
that's
then
right.
buyer broker, it's whatever you're going to do, usually the percent,
3.
and I'm going to give them 0.05%.
You're stingy.
I am. I'm very cheap. Variable commission. Now this is where you answer what question?
I'm sorry, what?
Variable commission.
You did the ER.
That's the ER, but what part of the ER? Commission is very straightforward. Commission is commission. What does variable mean?
that means that for a certain amount of the price, it's this commission. For the next amount of price, it's that commission. You break it down.
If conditions change, does the amount you get paid change? In other words, if I find the buyer, will my commission change? Yes, it will. So that means this is a variable commission.
I see. So the fact that we said if it's the listing,
Yep. Anytime there's a condition that might change what the commission will be, that's what that is.
Oh my, I don't think I got it right then.
There we go. See? Yep. That's why we go over these things here and there. Just a reminder. Now, owner name. What's the general rule when it comes to owner name? Exactly.
What's that? I didn't hear the
When,
answer.
for the owner, instead of putting their names down, we always say client up breakthrough.
You never want to put your owner's information there, especially because if it ever expires, that's how they get called a billion times the day after. All right, dwelling type, and it was obviously single family in this case. Okay, so this is all filled in. That's all filled in. I'm just gonna put in something here because I just want to show you. Richmond American. Okay, so notice everything else filled in, filled in, filled in, filled in. You would put in your directions. North from somewhere, okay, and then public remarks by
Beautiful.
this, right? So whatever it was, private remarks. What do you guys typically put in private remarks?
Like showing time.
Show by appointment
Or
only.
show by appointment only, or, please call listing agent for lockbox number, or, that kind of stuff. Or, because like for my rentals, that's where I put down, like my application fee, my, things that I don't want the potential tenants to know up front.
Here's another one that's very popular with bank-owned homes and investments.
Yeah. But yes, to verify all facts and details, yeah.
Yeah. See different things like that, right? So you'll put all those in, semi-private remarks, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll notice using the copy that the majority of this stuff is filled in as well. So you just go through and make sure it's correct, right? Make sure that the HOA stuff hasn't changed since the last time.
So you pulled up a previous listing and used all the information that they had in it?
Yep. It's up to you to still make sure what's accurate and not accurate, and take the time to do it. You're saving hours already. Take that extra 15 minutes to review this. But yeah, it's all there. You might find that one listing might have been from 2009, so you really have to double check. But like, we have
Yeah.
it's the same unit from 3 months ago that the tenant didn't work, so we're having to relist the same property. Copy it over. The benefit of if it's your listing, you can copy it entirely. Pictures, data, everything. But if it's somebody else's, it will pull what it can,
They did,
and then you'll have to
yeah.
fill out the rest.
Because this is where I find when I'm doing my listing, because if I have done my pictures, all of a sudden it's like, was the microwave built in or was it sitting on the counter? It's like all of a sudden this forces me, and so I can use my pictures to verify the information that I want in here. Or
Exactly.
it'll tell me if I forgot something.
Yep. And here's one of the benefits here. All right. So let me just save this as incomplete. Okay. Pretend I finished everything. Okay. And you were getting ready to make it go live, but you want to verify that it's all inputted. You want to make sure that it's correct, and you want to send it to your owners to look at the MLS profile sheets. So remember, you could have printed them off from TransactionDesk, and you could have filled them all out by hand, etc. Instead of doing that, you pull it from here. So once I save it as incomplete, it'll ask me to save and return home. It's not necessarily where I wanted to go. In here, you have my incomplete listings. Okay, and you'll see it pulls up all of the ones that you have. Which was the one I just did?
What was the 110?
There's another 110th,
So,
right? Where are you?
Up to.
Oh, right there. Thank you. Okay, so when we go here, we go to edit, and it'll pull up the menu. Okay, now print or email this listing. Okay, it's hidden. You wouldn't know it on the surface, but when you click there, print report or view report or email report. That's the MLS input sheet, completely filled out. So if you want to view the report, there you go. Oops, that's not it, sorry. I'm talking out of my butt, sorry about that. I'm saying the wrong things. Where was I? MLS. No. There we go. All right. Sorry, print input form. I was looking at the wrong one. So print input form email. So let's go ahead and just print it so you can see it. Sorry.
But you can email it directly?
Yeah. But here's what you'll send them. Instead of a filled out one, scribbled, whatever, they literally review this.
And so what you can do from this screen, Fred, is say like, I have my ER and I'm going to send everything over. So I'm going to save this as a PDF with everything so that I can click on all of these forms then and have it as a PDF to send to my...
Well, it's up to you. You can either attach it or email it directly from here as a separate email. Don't try to overcomplicate it. You can send it here, attach it with the others. You can whatever which way. But the key part here is you never want to hand fill out an MLS input form. And ideally, you're going to be able to copy from somebody prior. You're going to have to tweak it, but you're able to copy the majority of the information.
If it's ever been listed.
And even if that particular home hasn't been listed, is there the same floor plan from the same community? Because you're dealing with the same house. Then you could customize it to the exact thing too. It's a little more complicated, but you're even starting a little more, you're never basically having to start from scratch. The only time you'd have to start from scratch if it's a brand new community with a floor plan that's never been listed before.
Or it's my stilt home there on Squaw Valley in Black Canyon.
Completely custom built over the course of 25 years, yes.
That one was interesting.
Well, the house I just took has been added on.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, your custom homes, that's, somebody's gonna have to be the, but what you'll wanna do is input it directly into the MLS. Don't fill out the hand form and then do it. Just put it directly into the MLS and print off the form from there. Right? Never hand fill out the MLS input sheet. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, but pretty cool thing. I mean, literally being able to copy a listing, how much time does that save? It saves at least an hour. Well, when I told Michelle,
What do you mean don't fill out the spuds?
Oh, she not realizing. No, I'll let you.
I had an older couple I was helping, and I thought I was helping by filling it out.
Oh, you personally filling it out for them?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's like, ooh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just tell them, fill it out to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I mean, it's cool how it simplifies stuff. You look tired, baby. I'm so tired. Oh my God. Tomorrow's gonna be amazing.
Why?
Because it's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Then it's only Thursday at 5. Tomorrow?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm really excited.
How long has it been since you've seen her?
Well, we hung out in October.
Oh, that was last month.
Do we call Wednesday hump day?
Yes.
Mike. What day of the week is it? Mike. My candy corn's getting hard.
I
I'm
don't eat
sorry.
candy corn, I eat those other things.
Oh, okay. Is that why there's none left?
Probably.
Oh, here's one. Oh, there's a top on it. I found a third one.
This was October 13th.
You like those too, huh?
That was the last time we hung out, October 13th.
Oh, how cute.
With Lily.
They're beautiful.
Perfect.
So did we try out our template to see if it works?
Not yet. No, this was kind of that's the last step. So
So the other two things that we can add to the listing template is the clue and the buyer advisory.
Well,
Well,
the
not
buyer's
the buyer
advisory
advisory.
would be given by the buyer's agent to them
Not
in
the
general.
buyer advisory.
Spuds.
Market conditions.
Oh, okay.
The market conditions and clue would be a good thing to have ahead of time.
I think it just helps, it just puts you one step ahead.
Yeah, the clue, the HOA, the spuds, yeah, and then any of the other stuff such as
And the profile.
LVP
Yeah.
that you might need. But yeah, so hopefully now if you go back to your home screen in TransactionDesk to the dashboard and create transaction, hopefully it'll pop up. So if we go name,
You okay?
I'm just looking for my keys.
practice
I
listing,
find them.
and then hopefully our template will be there.
I launched Firefox instead of Google, so I have to back up.
Perfect. Yep.
This is what I call it.
Create a transaction.
Yep.
So
Right
then
there.
I'll pull up this.
You can say test.
Yeah, listing test or something.
Huh?
And then template.
Fred's residential listing template.
There you go. Alright, and that's where you can import data from Armless if you wanted, but yep.
Great.
And let's see. So
Well, now we put in
Piece of
the
paper
ownership.
from that.
yeah. So
Do you want me to make a copy of that? And I can email it to you.
Okay, that's good. That's the order.
and so
I always get confused. Street number, that's all they want is just street number.
exactly. And you got the directional, you got